And what's most important of that in our basically network of support, being able to partner with those experts.
Whoa. Time out.
What the hell is even going on? What is going on here? Well, welcome back. This is season 2, episode 8. Hello, Madison.
Hi, Rob. How are you?
I'm wonderful. This is going to be a great episode today. We have a lot of clients that are always asking questions about real estate. A lot of the community always asking about real estate, especially today in 2025. There's a lot of unknowns. We've got high interest rates. You've got sort of turmoil in the headlines, global, geopolitically. So there's a lot of stalemate that we're seeing. People are sitting on their hands because they're waiting for the Federal Reserve to if and when, right? The question is if and when to lower interest rates. And the fact remains that, real estate is traditionally, especially location, what you're looking for is one of the best investments long-term for investors, and it builds a lot of wealth. We see a lot of our clients that have built majority of their wealth through their real estate personally and their real estate portfolios.
Like you mentioned, Rob, a lot of our clients have real estate portfolios that we advise on. And I know that you have a lot of experience on advising in real estate because of working in this industry. And also your wife is a realtor and you've had a lot of real estate experience in your own personal life. What are some of the ways that we do help clients with real estate?
Yeah, it's a great question. And when we see clients, especially in California, with a lot of, their net worth is tied to real estate, right? They've built their personal REIT, if you will, right? Real estate investment trust. And a significant portion is tied to that. So on our side, when we look at the holistic approach to wealth management and their financial plan, we have to have the ability to sort of, know enough to be dangerous and then bring in the experts to assist, whether it's on the lending and mortgage side or even on the real estate side, both residential or commercial. I have had a family history in real estate, both my personal, our personal real estate portfolio, and always learning, always leaning into, there's a lot of great books. Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, also has a real estate series. He believes in real estate, one of the best investments. And one of the reasons why is because of all the tax benefits that you could pick up on real estate. And, I grew up on the kitchen table where my grandma and grandpa, sort of built their own real estate portfolio, but my brother and I were financial advisors, right? Investments, stocks, bonds, so on and so forth. And so what I learned was in every Thanksgiving or Christmas, conversation that we had growing up is, one is not better than the other. Right. Actually, you need them for balance. You need them for diversification. And some of them have a lot of different things that could help round out that investment portfolio. But more importantly, if you learn to have them work together for you in a complementary fashion, you're going to build your wealth quicker and faster. And so there's a way of fast tracking that. And that's how we advise our clients on sort of on a daily basis as we're going through our clients' financial wellness and financial lives.
Mm-hmm. And I know that we have a few very powerful tools that we provide to clients that help them with real estate. Do you want to share a little bit about some of those?
Yeah, absolutely. So we've been able to work with our custodial partners, Fidelity and Schwab. So our clients are with Fidelity or Charles Schwab. They hire us as the financial advisor. We're accredited investment fiduciaries. And so as your financial advisor, we create the financial plan. And with that financial plan, then we say, okay, here's how your investments, your retirement accounts, your trust account, your individual accounts, how they should be invested. And that's tied to the financial plan. But as we look at your balance sheet of life, we also have clients that have highly appreciated stock portfolios, right? And so with the custodian's help, we're able to offer what's called a standalone portfolio loan, basically. And so it's a loan on your own investments. And the way it really works is, and the reasons why you'd want to do it specifically is, let's say you have a highly appreciated stock portfolio, right? But you need a bridge loan because you have a home that's maybe a home that you're selling, but you have a home that you see and you identified and you want to buy right away. Okay. And we're not talking about a 1031 exchange. In this case, we're talking about, hey, where do I find the extra liquidity without going to a lender directly? But that can help me sort of take down this property over here with cash, but also then give me and buy me some time over here, sort of a bridge loan effect.
Right.
And so let's say you have a couple $1 million with Fidelity. You can borrow, let's say 50 cents to the dollar off your portfolio. So you have access to $1 million in this case. And the reason why you want to take $1 million out of your portfolio is because it's working for you, number one. Number two, you want to continue to have that $1 million work for you. But number 3, you don't want to hit the capital gains button for a bridge loan.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
So maybe it's working really well for you and you don't want to pay the tax man. So what do? We basically keep that $2 million portfolio with Fidelity in this case. We basically will lend at Fed funds rate, which is 4.5% right now, and plus 1%. That 1% goes to the house, doesn't go to Blanky Schein Wealth Management, goes to Fidelity. And that's the cost of doing business with them. And what that really means is you're getting a rate right now in today's market of 5.5% off of that $1 million. And again, that's an annual rate. So if you have it for an entire year, that's what you're going to pay. Which is $55,000 in this case. But you break it down by the day you have that loan, that bridge loan outstanding. And what's more powerful on the other side is when you're negotiating, let's say for that $1 million property, and you could do a shorter escrow because you don't have to get sort of lending approval or a background in lending. You have the ability to have that $1 million in hand. And let's say you can say, hey, listen, I can close in, maybe instead of 45 days, I can close in, 17, 20, 25 days. That's that's an incentive for, the seller to be like, oh, I could have this property offloaded. I could have, basically be done with this property. So then what do? You go for a discount. So maybe you get a 5-10% discount because you can close and perform. So then for our clients, it's leverage, it's opportunity to strike when the iron's hot and use cash. Cash is king in real estate, and we know that. So it's another way. And then, oh, by the way, it's a bridge loan. So to qualify, it's basically just saying to Fidelity, you're not going to move your account. You're going to keep your account with them. There's no it doesn't go on your credit report. There's no prepayment penalty. There's no upfront cost to doing that bridge loan. And then you could basically structure the loan repayment in any which way. So it could be interest only, principal and interest on a monthly basis, or just let the interest accrue and pay it off at once when that second home is finally, let's say you secured this first home, you're good to go. And now the second home you sold after the last 6 months, and then use the proceeds to pay off your portfolio loan. And the best part is that you didn't miss a beat in your investment portfolio. You didn't hit the capital gain tax on one side, as well as you potentially got a discount on the real estate on the other side. So it's a win-win-win for the clients. And we can walk them through it. It's a little bit more, it's as straightforward as that, but it's not as, complicated as it needs to be. And that's how we help clients. We've done that at least 14 times last year. I've already done it 3 or 4 times this year for clients. But it's a great, as you said, powerful tool that we can utilize on our side of Blanky Schein Wealth Management to help our clients. So, as I was saying before, there's a lot of real estate that we help our clients with and guide them through, whether it's a 1031 exchange, and sort of all the nuances of that. Again, we know enough to be dangerous, but we're not the experts. Right. But we'll bring in the experts from time to time to guide them through every step of the way. And what's most important of that in our basically network of support and being able to partner with those experts. Whoa. Time out. What the hell is even going on? What is going on here?
We know finances are really, really important, but I think it's important to talk about real estate.
Real estate, yes. Yeah. We're the experts, right?
Yeah. Out of the chair.
Okay. The experts are taking over.
This is the real estate takeover edition. Good luck.
There you go.
Thank you everyone for watching. This episode is sponsored by Blanky Schein Wealth Management. We've been in the Coachella Valley for 40 years and we're built for the next 40 years. You can find us at blankyshinewealthmanagement.com. And now back to the episode.
Well, congratulations. You're here for the takeover.
Yeah, it was fun taking it over too.
Kristen, why don't you introduce yourself? Why are you here?
I am Kristen Martinez and I own a mortgage company in Palm Desert, and I have with my husband for approximately 20 years now, and it's been a blessing and a curse all at the same time in today's market, but it's been a lot of fun. So absolutely.
You get to look at your husband all day long too, just like I do.
It's so fun and we love it. And he sometimes on, bad days, he looks really short, but sometimes he looks like a giant. You never know, right? It just depends on the day.
Okay. But today was a really good day. Why? What happened today?
So I locked my first loan at 5.99. I have not done that in probably 3.5 years.
That's awesome.
I know it is exciting.
It is.
So we do run around and bang bells around and it feels
awards.
Good. It feels, yes, Clank Awards, Clank by Awards. Yes, that's true. But we did 5.99, which feels really good. And I do feel like it's going to get a lot better.
Awesome.
So I think that's why we want to talk about now is the time to buy, right?
Yeah.
Why get into real estate?
It's March.
It is.
It's March, and March is the #1 month of all time in the Coachella Valley to sell or buy a home.
Tennis tournament is on.
Yeah.
On like Donkey Kong.
Getting ready for Stagecoach and Coachella too. All those investment properties.
It is. It's coming.
Yeah.
Well, so what are you starting to see is the purchase price that's moving a lot right now? Or
the purchase price that's moving a lot right now is the correct price.
Oh, there you go. I love that. I love that.
It's really, it's been difficult. I mean, everybody's still in 2021 pricing points. My neighbor, a few years ago got this price and they're still stuck on that valuation. So it's become really difficult to explain the concept of the fact that there is so much more inventory now.
Yeah. Buyer's market.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And they, and what's interesting too is that they're willing to stick to their home prices because they have such a good interest rate.
Yes.
It doesn't make sense. Why would I dump this? I can afford it. So.
Right. Well, there's a lot of tax write-offs, right, on your interest that you pay to them. So a lot of people are paying a lot to taxes, and no matter what interest rate you're at, it's a complete tax write-off to the IRS. Well, up to $750. So it's a benefit, and people don't really understand that even though you are going to pay a higher interest rate, it might benefit on how much taxes you pay, so you can go get the house you really want, if by switching interest rates, and it still might benefit you, which is important to have a team like this and have friends and have a CPA that you can bounce ideas off of and help people grow in their financial journey for sure.
Yeah. Well, and like we were talking about earlier, the concept of actually bringing people in to learn a lot about the different options that they do have. I know that that's been a challenge for me in my business.
Yeah.
I deal predominantly with cash buyers, but sometimes even though they have the cash, I love selling $1 million homes.
Yeah. Nobody really wants me. You just have to have me. That's the deal. Not everybody can be an all cash buyer, and that's where we come into play. So it's a challenging, stressful time. And I always say, no matter if it's your first home or your 20th home, it's still stressful.
But sometimes it's more advantageous for them to maybe pay half of it in cash and half get a mortgage.
Depending on a comfort zone. So everybody has a different comfort zone, and I'm sure you see it. No two purchases or buyers are the same.
Right.
And usually husband and wife have different opinions too. So it's really hard for us to come in and find that sweet spot.
You get to be in the car like me and be like, oh my gosh, am I a therapist today? Are they going to start punching each other?
Yes, exactly.
How are we gonna get them to agree and land on the same page? So
it's fun. So there's a lot of differences, I think, in today's market. The one thing that I'm starting to see, which is interesting, is a lot of first-time home buyers are not as scared as our experienced buyers. I think they're ready to just throw it in and see how it works out. I think that's kind of how these kids do it on social media too. See what works.
Just cannonball into the pool. No tiptoeing.
No tiptoeing. Which is so true. But I had a buyer call me today and say, I just want to get started. I think she's like 20 years old. And I kind of walked her down the journey of how to start with your first home. Start small, start a condo, rent it out when you're ready, and keep moving up in size. And as long as you do that and they keep becoming primary purchases, you only have to put down like 5% on every home you purchase, and you can build financial wealth and it will appreciate. And so I think it's interesting how you can get a first-time home buyer and now the experienced ones are starting to say, all right, I really want that bigger kitchen, or I want to remodel, or I want a better home or a bigger backyard. You're starting to see that probably right now too.
Absolutely. I think when you're looking at real estate out here, I think right now the focus is either on one of two things. I mean, anything in the middle, I think we're really struggling with, which is what I'm seeing is either we want a complete tear down, remodel, or we want it already done and I move in with my suitcase.
Yes.
So, the Tuscan feel sometimes that, early 2000s build is a tough sell because they think because they're in the same neighborhood as what somebody in my office yesterday coined it white out. So that's all the white walls, white countertops, white cabinets. So, because they haven't done that, in their minds, they think their home is still worth the same amount. But a buyer comes in and says, no, I have to take all of that money off of it because I want to change it to that. So that's, I think, a lot of the struggle that we're having is all those in-between homes.
Yeah.
So.
Well, you have a successful marriage. Like, what's some advice you would give on married couples coming together, and what do you give up? And I mean, give them some advice as you come in and a wife wants a huge room or a kitchen. And so what's your advice on how to work together as a couple going into a purchase?
I think really just coming to terms with the commonalities, the most important things, the must-haves and the can live withouts. Those are really important. And, what I noticed a lot with couples when we're walking through homes with buyers, they may tell you one thing But you kind of have to read their body language because they're like, yeah, I want to remodel. And they're like, laying down on top of the nice new counter being like, this is not terrible. So, you just kind of read the body language. And I actually was working with a couple and we walked into a beautifully, completely remodeled condo. And I mean, it was gorgeous. I mean, fully furnished, everything. I mean, literally just bring your suitcase. And I showed it to them first, and the husband goes, "Oh, good job.
Good job.
Good job." He's like, "Why do we even need to do anything else?" I'm like, "Exactly. That's why I do what I do.
This is why, that's why you're the expert, right? That's why you're here.
Why do we waste our time? We're not going to start at the bottom and work our way up." So.
Absolutely. Make the wife happy wife, happy life. Isn't that the key?
Exactly. Well, and then it became, find us this for this price. So.
Oh, yeah. Right. That's the truth. That's the hardest thing about your job probably is everybody wants a $700,000 house on a $500,000 budget.
Right.
That's one thing that we should probably talk about is making sure you know your budget before you go into house hunting. Because if you do it first, you're always going to want a more expensive house. And then you're always going to be disappointed when you come into me and then I'm the bad guy. And I'm like,
well, that's what I wanted to ask you too, because that's kind of what I'm dealing with is I work with people that are, they tend to be maybe sunsetting or, wanting to come retire here after they've worked their whole lives. So they've built up a lot of money or maybe a little bit of a nest egg. They don't necessarily want to spend it all in one place, but, they can make a substantial down payment. But I find that they are so hesitant to come in and speak with somebody in the lending industry.
Right.
Because I feel like we've talked about it before. Like you have to get naked, in front of somebody. So
I see what color your underwear are, right? It's a weird, very weird situation for sure.
You have to really, really tell everybody what you're spending your money on and, and how it's allocated. And that can be very vulnerable to people. Yeah. So tell me, what do you think would be the best way to help my clients through that scenario?
I would say, it's really important. I think we don't do enough communicating about how we feel about things in the industry. So I think in my brain, I think I take for granted what I think they know. Mm-hmm. And so you're already assuming I can skip A, B, and C to get to D just because they're already knowledgeable. But in reality, I think if us as professionals started with, you need to be comfortable with this person, number one, especially me in the financial world. Like you really need to understand that I am going to see your tax returns. I might ask that weird question of how you got this $20,000 deposit in your bank account. Those seem
where
like,
where did
it come from? We have to prove absolutely everything. So you need to feel like the person that's on the other end that you're giving this information to, you trust.
Right.
And that you feel good with them. So then you can sit down and say, where are you comfortable? Is it a $2,500 payment? Is it a $2,750? Maybe your wife or your husband or, it doesn't matter. You want your kids to get your house. What does that look like in 15 years? Are you trying to pay it off? Are you trying to flip it and sell it to something bigger? You just have to really feel comfortable with your team. Yeah. And I think that's what the whole thing is. If you trust your lender and trust your agent and you're comfortable with that situation, I think it becomes a lot easier to communicate about what you're afraid of or what you don't know.
Yeah. And also so necessary because, a lot of people who don't, buying a home or selling a home, but particularly buying a home, you don't do every single day. It's not a transaction that comes up in your life very often. So,
too bad for us, they don't, right? I wish it was like today. Milk. I wish it was like buying milk.
I have a bunch of properties. Anybody today? Today? Do you want to buy today?
It's so true. It's so true.
Yeah, no, it just doesn't happen every day. So, a lot of times the last time somebody did purchase a home, all of the rules are different. Everything's changed, so having to re-educate themselves is intimidating probably. And they don't know that there are so many different ways to skin the cat, essentially. So that's what I always try to promote with them is, this is not the old school. You don't always have to do, 20% down, and,
right?
And that's the same old school way of doing it. There's so many different programs.
There is. And there's, you don't have to put any money down technically to buy a house these days. There's down payment assistance programs. They're not my favorite. They are harder to qualify for and they do have a higher interest rate. But if that's something that you really want to take on, you can do those things. So that I think is the biggest misconception in our industry is that you have to have 20% down to buy a house.
Right.
I would say the most common loan I do is probably 3.5% to 5% down if it's a primary residence, of course. But there are different programs. And the funny thing is in our industry, it changes yearly. Like the max loan amounts you can do for a conventional loan changes yearly. The programs that come out, the government helps people, that are struggling and still want to be first-time home buyers. So they set out new programs all the time. So I'm learning too. I've been doing this, it's just like anything. If you're a hairstylist, you got to go out and train yourself.
Absolutely.
You got to see what's new on the market. We're doing the same thing. So I think that if people understood that a little bit more, we can learn together. And even if I don't know how to give you what you need, I'll figure it out. We'll find a way. We'll build a team, and we'll make sure that we find out what's the best real estate solution for whoever's out there,
So it is funny that you mentioned that, because a lot of times it's like that in our industry, on the realtor side, contractually, as you've seen over this last year, everything is constantly changing. I mean, I just had a conversation with my my broker's assistant, and I said I had sent him a contract and I wanted him to sign it, and he said, well, you used this form, but you can use this form, and I'm going to talk to you about why tomorrow it's going to change to this form.
Wow.
So it's an always evolving, learning experience.
And he probably found it faster than you on AI, right? Exactly. And you're like, and it's out there? What form? And where did it come from?
Who? Didn't it say pretty much the same thing?
The same thing. I mean, the buyer's commission thing has been, we should probably talk about that, because it's really the same thing.
It is.
It's exactly the same thing. Yeah. And they just changed the verbiage and confused everybody. For us in the lending industry, we're like, haha, agents, you finally have to explain stuff, because we're over here explaining like you dot your I's and cross your T's. But it's really the same thing. Yeah. And it's in the benefit of you guys to make sure that buyer's agents are still handled the same way, because if they just go to always the listing agents, it's still a little one-sided in some cases.
It's true. It's true. It's holding, it's holding buyers a little bit accountable too.
Yeah.
Right. Because, so many times, as a real estate agent, that was just the nature of the beast. You'd have a buyer and they'd drag you around town for 9-12 months, and you'd see every property on the planet, and then they'd be like, oh yeah, my sister's brother's uncle's friend is a real estate agent, and they're going to represent me. And you're like,
or my favorite, it's not my favorite. I just wish people knew, is that when you go out and you do that same thing to an agent, and then you go sign in at a new home and the new builds.
Oh, I had that happen.
Yes. And so that's wonderful. If you guys get them signed and committed, then you get your commission. You're deserving of that. So, I mean, I think part of the community, like I said, if we talk about the A, B's, and C's that have never been talked about.
No, but I have it on the opposite side. They'll just go to the new home development without me.
Yeah, yes.
So
it's hurtful.
I will tell you,
it hurts your bank account.
It does. However,
you should probably cut that out.
That happened to me once, and I was very, very nice about it, and I wished him all the best of luck. And I was like, we're talking over $2 million, so it wasn't small, and we'd been working together for quite some time. But I will tell you that I did end up finding a home in a different area that was not a new home build, that was exactly what both of them had been telling me that they wanted. And I just happened to email it to him, and I said, I know perfect. You're really, really happy where you are, and God
while you're
bless
waiting.
You. Yeah, but while you're waiting, this just came on the market.
That's perfect. That's also your non-quitter attitude, which makes you a phenomenal agent. I mean, because it does. It's like, yes, there's going to be bad days in anybody's industry. Yeah. It's how you handle it and how you come back from it. And this industry has proven that, especially that's why we're telling you to buy right now, because it is coming back. And they say for every 0.5% interest rates improve, 500,000 people will qualify. So that means the market's going to be more competitive. You're going to pay a higher price for your house. And so I would say get in now, because we always can refinance you after 6 months of owning your home.
And you have all the power right now. It's a buyer's
It is a buyer's market.
Now.
Yep.
So that's what we're seeing. It's, we definitely want the sellers to be realistic, but man, if you can, get out there and buy a home now, because as soon as those real estate interest rates drop,
come down, they're going to start seeing, and all these people, more people qualify. It's going to be more competitive. Mm-hmm. And, and really do align yourself with an agent that is in the field every day or on the market. You have to be searching the internet for these houses that come on and great deals. And I think it's important to do some research on the agents you're using, like you, and see that they have at least closed homes in the recent future, and that they're active, and how, in social media, and making sure they know a lot about the industry.
Well, and a big thing out here is we have a lot of agents that try to list homes that are out of the area. So
Yes.
they're allowed to sell, homes in the Coachella Valley just because they're allowed to sell homes in the state of California. But they don't know anything. So I actually recently, and I'm about to close tomorrow. Fingers crossed.
You've got this.
Skidding in on fumes.
Sliding
into home. But they had recently had it with an out of town agent that was their best friend, but she wasn't boots on the ground out here. So she wasn't able to come out here and show the property, and she didn't have a relationship so that the proper things were being told to potential buyers when they walk through the property.
Right.
So, I did have a real conversation with them about that, and, had her refer me the listing, and I took it on, and a couple weeks later,
Worked out great.
We're going to get it sold.
See, that's amazing.
And that's what you need. You need knowledgeable people on the
local
ground
expert.
doing it every single day that have been here for a while, that you can trust.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. That's the most important part of anything we do. Because it's exciting. I'm excited about the next, couple of years in the industry because, well, I think I'm going to probably die in this industry. Let's just be honest. I don't know that I'm going to switch, after you've been in so long. And it's fun. It's changing. Programs are getting more flexible. I'm starting to see these 20-year-olds buying houses, which I think is incredible.
That's
awesome.
awesome.
You've got a lot coming up.
I know.
Tell them, give them to me. Let's go.
Let's go. Oh my gosh. Yeah. We're just trying to find the job now.
Yeah. My son, I think Daniel bought a house at 19 years old.
Good for him.
Yeah.
That's
and think about that. So let's talk about that. He bought it at 19 and he got it for, I don't know, $355, and the thing's probably worth $575 today. So if he hadn't made that decision, I like decision and choice together. If he hadn't made that choice 4 years ago, then he wouldn't, he was, you like DeSoyce. It got you.
It made me choke on my cough. Sorry.
It's going to be a new word. AI doesn't use that one, so you should try that.
DeSoyce. I like that. But that's great. But that's a testament to who his mom is. Because, you've been able to
push your
direct them.
kids. Yeah. And, he was scared at first, and I think he's still scared. But you still go through it, and you keep working, and that's how you get knowledgeable and, learn how to file your tax returns and all those things. It's like
where we are. It's about financially empowering, not just women, even our kids.
No, yeah.
All of our
kids. Yes. And just like Rob, I've made my daughter set up a IRA account. She's having trouble funding it. I'm like, excuse me, baby. Go. It's there for a reason. Now that she's filing her tax return, she could see it on there.
Good for her.
Taxes. So it's all fun.
Awesome.
Our industry is fun.
It is. Yeah. Well, it's not fun when you want to go to Sephora and you want to go to Chick-fil-A. It's not fun.
You have a lot of girls, so I just pay for bail. Just kidding.
All I pay for Jack is food and video games.
I know. I can't believe how big he is these days. That's crazy. 6'4",
6'6".
Oh my Lord. It's great.
Well, the best news is when we're talking about boots on the ground, that's what we are.
Yes.
We're just a phone call away. So, give us a call if it's your first home, it's your 19th home.
Yeah, you need financing, you don't. Just reach out and we can definitely kind of get a financial plan for you. I mean, it's exciting. Definitely local in the desert. Stay local. Work with local people because it's amazing what you can find because we do have our boots on the ground here and we do work together and honestly, we're awesome.
And you and I are just a phone call and a text away.
People, they run into me and then they see her later and they're like, your sister was in here. I'm like, yes, ma'am. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, we raised our kids together and now we're doing business.
We're doing business. So, well, thank you so much for having me here today.
Thanks
it's been fun.
Yes. Thanks for chatting with us.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, we also want to thank Madison and Rob for letting us take over.
Yes. And letting us barge in and blast in and tell you about real estate today.
The other side of the financial world. So that was great.
Well, you had a choice when you picked Rob, and I think you did pretty good.
Thanks. I think you picked pretty well too.
Right? We plan on staying together.
Good stuff.
Yes.
And if you guys like more content like this, go ahead and comment and let us know. We'd be happy to chat more.
Yes. Like, share, do it all. Let's go.
Wow. Well, Madison, that was a whirlwind. I didn't ever expect our podcast to be hijacked by two very intelligent ladies in the real estate world, but I think they provided a tremendous amount of advice to our audience.
Yes.
I know I learned something, even though we got kicked out of our own our own domain here, but it's going to be great for the audience. But yeah,
Yes.
they're definitely a lively too. I'm sure we'll see more of them in the future. And audience, please let us know and give us some feedback on this. If you'd like to see more of Jennica and Kristen together, more information on real estate and how we can help in the future provide that education.
Just like we end every episode, we're going to end the episode with some quotes. The first is from Susie Orman, and the quote is, "Owning a home is a keystone of wealth, both financial affluence and emotional security." The second quote is by Franklin D. Roosevelt. "Real estate cannot be lost or stolen, nor can it be carried away. Purchased with common sense, paid for in full, and managed with reasonable care, it is about the safest investment in the world."
Thank you for listening, and thank you for watching our few episode. Like and subscribe, and just share with friends and family. We want to broaden this community. We ask you just to give us a little bit of your time, and we're going to give you that financial wellness that you so deserve. So thanks for that time today, and we'll see you again next time.
This podcast is brought to you by David Field Producer. It is produced and directed by David Field and Kristen George. And its mix, edit, and socials by Kristen George. Jennica Schein Wealth Management is a group of investment professionals registered with Hightower Services, LLC, member FINRA and SIPC, and with Hightower Advisors, LLC, a registered investment advisor with the SEC. Securities are offered through Hightower Securities, LLC. Advisory services are offered through Hightower Advisors, LLC. This is not an offer to buy or sell securities. No investment process is free of risk, and there is no guarantee that the investment process or the investment opportunities referenced herein will be profitable. Past performance is not indicative of current or future performance and is not a guarantee. The investment opportunities referenced herein may not be suitable for all investors. All data and information referenced herein are from sources believed to be reliable. Any opinions, news, research, analysis, prices, or other information contained in this research is provided as general market commentary. It does not constitute investment advice. Jennica Schein Wealth Management and Hightower shall not in any way be liable for claims and make no expressed or implied representations or warranties as to the accuracy or completeness of the data and other information, or for statements or errors contained in or omissions from the obtained data and information referenced herein. The data and information are provided as of the date referenced. Such data and information are subject to change without notice. This document was created for informational purposes only. The opinions expressed are solely those of Jennica Schein Wealth Management and do not represent those of Hightower Advisors, LLC, or any of its affiliates.